Awesome. Well, Nick, it's a pleasure to have you in my home.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you for coming. It's a tough one to find. How did you go getting into the driveway?
Yeah, I didn't park in the driveway.
Okay.
I parked out on the street because I've been in this conundrum before.
Yeah.
Where you see a brick alleyway and you're like, nah, don't turn down there, Nick.
It's tempting
a dead
though, isn't
end.
it?
Yeah. Or in the city, there's usually no parks.
Yeah.
In that alleyway. So I navigated that well. I'm getting smarter. I'm actually getting smarter as I get older.
Well done. And looking greater as time goes on.
Maybe.
So what's new for you, man? Just to give a little bit of an intro. So Nick is a brilliant podcaster, a hilarious stand-up comic, and a very funny comic actor. I'm excited to have you on the show. We've had a little bit of crossover where I've turned up and done open mic poorly at places that you're doing stand-up in a great way. And I think we've been in a couple of, they weren't sports bet, they were like a cheaper version of sports bet ads as well. What's going on for you now? It's probably been a few years since we caught up.
Yeah, man. A fair bit. I guess I do 2 podcasts. I do the Phone Hacks podcast. Don't listen to that. It's terrible.
I have listened to that. It's it feels like. And can you just give an idea of the premise, and then I'll give an idea of what it's like to listen to?
Well, basically, we go. Mike Goldstein and I, we go through each other's phones, and we have a guest as well. A spinning wheel decides what we go through in each other's phones. So we go through like the search history, notes, camera roll, draft tweets, which you don't really do anymore.
Yeah.
So you can go through one of those, and then at the end we can hack each other. So we've done some terrible hacks. I had to write a text message to my uncle saying I had a dream we 69. We just had 2 great guests. We just had Brenna Glazebrook and Talia Kane. They got their own podcast. And Brenna does improv, and we got her to post in the Melbourne Comedy Hubs group that she's starting her own improv called UTI, where it's underwear theatre improv.
Oh my God.
Yeah, where it's like, so she's like, I'm looking for people to be in my underwear theatre improv group.
Oh.
So I'm keen to see how this goes. After this, I'm going to check the notifications.
It's quite a addictive feeling listening to that show, because it's not only the content of the tweets or the things that you do on each other's phones, it's knowing that there's real people having to react and interact with that stuff. Like that there's people going, oh, how do I respond to this? Like, and there'll be real comments, I'm sure, under the UTI post of people going, hey, good on you. Like, we stand behind you. Like, it's those real reactions that give me that addictive, uncomfortable feeling.
Oh man, yeah, it's been we've been called out a few times, like because I don't know, it's a thing. I mean, it does. I feel like, because we've been doing the podcast for 4 or 5 years now, and it started off as us like, social media is a total joke. It's a joke. If you post serious stuff on there, you're a joke.
Yeah.
Everyone's a joke.
Yeah.
But now I feel like now my soul is dead to social media. Like, I could post anything. Who cares? But then also there's people that, like, I found out that are grieving and things like that.
True.
Or want to get in touch with their friends, and they'll post things, and now I'm kind of side with them a bit more. It's less of a joke.
Yeah, right.
So it's kind of like a weird thing. I have this double, and also Mike never posted anything on social media that wasn't having a go at somebody or something funny. But now that he's kind of got famous and he's on TV, I see him actually posting cringy stuff.
For serious, though.
Yeah, for serious. And I'm also sometimes, I had cancer and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
And I did some serious posts as well. So it is weird how it's kind of, karma has come back on us. But at the same time, it is funny to see the real reactions. And a couple of times we've posted things, got people to post like mental health things. and the people who have commented, seriously, they feel duped.
Oh, yeah.
So they get, and rightly so.
Have you ever?
So they've got angry at us.
Have you ever genuinely apologized because you're like, actually, this made somebody feel a certain way and I'm not happy about it? Or have you kind of kept that hard line, who cares? I'm just going to hold to the things we posted. Have you ever retracted anything or had to say, I'm sorry about how you felt about that?
No, we've never retracted. No. There have been some, like one time we got Guy Montgomery to post that he was cancelling a few of his shows and he had to go back to New Zealand due to mental health reasons.
Yeah.
And that really kicked up a storm. Like, we were not cool for... We're probably still having the repercussions of that.
Because
but at
people
the end
went,
of the day,
why, that shouldn't be a joke? Or because people were like, I've spent money on the tickets.
No, people were like, that shouldn't be a joke.
Yeah.
And it wasn't people who spent money on tickets. It was like people that... Other people in the comedy industry that were like...
They're like mental health.
If you call it an industry. We're like, yeah, don't do this about men. Not cool. We draw the line there, guys. And yeah, I'm a little bit with that, but also, I don't know, if he posted, who gives a shit, you know?
I think that if you didn't have that attitude, it would be very difficult to do that podcast for this amount of time. Like, it's very funny that you guys are just like, oh, whatever. Like, we'll just push with whatever we've got.
Yeah, and we have like toned it down a lot more.
Okay.
Like, we don't have family members, you know. Oh, we had one a couple of weeks ago, and I got into trouble for that.
What was that one?
My auntie Catherine, who lives in Spain or something, she might live in Spain or Ireland. I haven't seen her in about 20 years.
Yep.
And she's like probably 80 years old now, I'd say, over 80 years old. She's got a Facebook page.
Yep.
And Mike and Tom Cashman got me to write, post on her wall, hey, Auntie Catherine, haven't seen you in a while. It's pretty funny about this whole submarine thing, isn't it? Imagine if you and I were down in that submarine. The laughs we'd have.
Oh, bro. What, did she reply?
No, but my uncle gave me a stern phone call. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell is this? Like, I'd forgotten about it. Like, I was reeling for like 10 minutes and then I had to jump on a plane. And 2 days later, my uncle rang me. He's like, we're having a good conversation. And I'm like, yeah, man, I got to go. Sorry. He's like, actually, I've been meaning to call you about this. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, my God. And to tell him it's for a podcast,
Yeah.
that generation, they don't get it. They don't even know what a podcast is.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is dumb. And I'm 40 years old now. So it's like, to get a stern phone call when you're like 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, who cares?
You expect it.
But when you're 40 years old, and it's terrible. We're terrible people. We should be killed. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. Has it ever left any tension between you and the co-host, Mike? Like, have you ever pushed him to a place that he's like, oh, you've given me so many repercussions in my real life, I'm actually mad at you, Kappa? Or has it been the other way around ever? Or have you guys just accepted where you're pushing each other?
Well, yeah, we accepted it pretty well. There was a time Mike really pissed me off because he said something. He was on the Dum Dum Club podcast and he said, I've got Kappa better with my hacks than Kappa's got me.
Yeah.
So then I sat down with a pad and a pen and I had some real brutal hacks on him.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was very funny. I was like, I'll teach him to say that I had the better hacks.
Yeah. Love that.
But overall, he's probably been better
Okay.
after a while. Yeah. But yeah, I have got him some good ones.
Yeah, awesome.
But we find also it's just funny sometimes we'll come up with the most fucked hack ever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone would ever do. But it's kind of fun to just float the idea.
Yeah.
And some people do them. Some people are like, yeah, I'm in. Like,
Yeah,
give
man.
me that. We're like, man, this was just an idea. You don't have to. They're like, no, I'll do it.
And I
Yeah.
imagine for the guests, it's different because to a degree, you and Mike's closest friends and family know that you have a podcast where you hack each other's phones. But for the guests, their closest friends and family, they don't know, they might not know about that phone hacks exists. So when they see like Guy Montgomery saying things, his family and friends probably might not have the same awareness of what the phone hacks podcast is. So it might seem more real for the guests as well.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. It's so brutal. We had Gareth Waugh. He's a great comedian from Scotland. Really funny guy. He didn't know Mike and I. And he's like, we just knew he was a good guy. And he's like, yeah, I'd love to come on. And it was a live audience show. And we got him to post that, because he's white and he's a ginger. Like, he's got ginger hair, you know.
Yep.
And he said, a woman of colour in the audience called me a ginger at a show. I feel terrible about this. There's no way I could reply. Like, racial, tension has gone off. And then his mum rang him and said, your grandmother just read this post and she feels so bad for you. She's crying.
Oh.
And we're like, oh my God. He's like,
So the grandma took,
and it's so
took
hard.
the side of it.
Yeah. He took the side of him.
Weird.
I know, like rightfully so. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like because they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then and then he has to tell them it's for a podcast.
Yeah.
And yeah. So it's awful.
She'll have no idea what that is as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's people have really like we've had a lot of famous people on, and they still get asked to this day, like, oh, remember when you posted that thing? Did that really happen? Like, did you really go on Neighbours or did you really go on Maths? And they're like, no, it was for this dumb podcast by two open micers.
Still answering it years later.
Yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah.
So that's Phone Hacks, and then you've got another podcast as well.
Yeah, with Brett Blake called Flat Stick.
Yeah.
And that's really fun. We talk, I guess you don't want to talk about motorbikes and mountain bikes on your, I don't know, like I do. Like sometimes I'll put up content about it, but not really.
Yeah.
And because I just thought, if people are into you as a comedian, they just don't want to get bombarded with videos, like terrible GoPro videos of you like going down a hill at 1 kilometer an hour, going fuck. So Brett and I, we love motorbikes, we love action movies and mountain bikes. So yeah, that's what we talk about on Flat Stick a lot. Yeah, and talking a lot of shit, comedy, basically just catching up in a week with all the dumb stuff we do, and it's so much fun. But I think we've ventured more into video content now, and Brett's really ramped it up on the YouTube now, putting stuff up there. So that's been really fun. Yeah, and we do a show called Brew Dudes where we do. It's an introduction into craft beer.
Okay.
But basically, it's just Skull and Beers for an hour.
Yeah. And that's separate from Flat Stick.
Yeah. But we still talk about craft beer and action movies and shit. So that's so fun.
Awesome,
as
man.
well. Yeah. And we got a show coming out. Years ago, we rode from Melbourne to Queensland on our motorbikes, and just all types of mishaps.
Yeah.
And we're getting that added together. Kickstart thing, we managed to get $5,000 worth of supporters.
Nice.
So that'll be coming out. Either, hopefully, we sell it to a TV channel, or it'll be on YouTube.
Yeah, cool.
Either way, it'll be good. Yeah,
awesome.
Man. Yeah.
And then I might get this wrong, but I think your current special, you're about to film your current special. Am I right on that?
Yeah. I don't know when this is getting released, but on the 29th of July.
Awesome.
Yeah, where Mike Goldstein and I were filming both of our specials. And I'm filming my comedy show from this year, Hold Me Closer, Tiny Cancer. Yeah.
And I haven't seen the special yet, but am I able to ask health-wise, like where are you at now? Are you fully in remission? What's the deal?
I've still got to get scans every 3 to 6 months. I've still got a couple of nodules or something in my chest that they're keeping an eye on. They might have to cut them out, or I don't think I'll have to have chemotherapy again, which is good, like touch wood.
Yep.
But so I just got to watch those nodules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how, as a topic, how comfortable are you with it, or is it something that you're like, I just prefer to keep it in my special, in my show, or just want to check before I ask anything about it?
Oh no, man, no. I feel like I don't want anyone else to go through what I went through, and the best way to do that is spread awareness. So if you are a guy or a girl, get your testicles checked, get your breasts checked, just get it checked. I was very, very lucky. I was in lockdown. I had nothing else to do, so you play with your balls a lot more. Yeah. So I noticed like a something half the size of a pea.
Yeah.
And then I got it checked, and it was testicular cancer.
Yeah,
on
man.
one of my testicles. So, and if I wasn't working, if I was working at the time, if I wasn't in lockdown, I would have
all that spare time,
would have pushed it back so much further. It would have got so much crazier. I was very lucky. So yeah, man. Yeah,
bro. And I can't even imagine, because I haven't been through something similar, but I would expect going through that and getting to where you are now, there's probably some things that you think about differently, or you might feel like, life might maybe mean something. Do you feel like you had did you change your mind on things throughout, or do you feel like refreshed, or do you feel more like death is a more real thing. Is there anything that changed massively in your mind from going through this process?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a lot more grateful for things.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a lot more grateful for everything. And I catch myself being a real dag,
Okay.
like a real dork.
Yeah.
Like I work part time in a job.
Yeah.
In a factory, and I was riding my bike back the other day. Around the river. The sun's out, and I'm riding home from this great job and riding my bike, and I'm like, this is so good.
Yeah, man.
This is the best.
Yeah.
Riding your push bike back, and just I get home to my partner, and I'll say something like that. She's very sarcastic. She's quite she's quite critical of everything, which is funny. Which is why I'm with her. She really brings me back down to earth, which is good. I tell her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's nice," but yeah, so things like that.
Yeah,
and
man.
also, it taught me one big thing. It taught me, if you know somebody that is struggling due to cancer, and you go, "Hey, they've probably got too many people talking to them right now. I won't do it. No, just do it.
Okay.
Because every single person counted. Like
Really?
Like so many people reached out to me. Too many. Like so many people. My phone was going off the hook.
But you loved it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Like it really. Seeing how many people come out for you is nuts. And you do have to catch yourself though, because you do find yourself very quickly revolving back to just being quite critical of everything and being quite dour on life.
True.
Like, oh, this sucks. You tend to get stressed about the smallest things straight away.
Yeah.
I don't know, what helps me is I'm like, oh, what was I doing this time last year? Oh, I was lying in my
true.
bed, or I was sick, or I was, or I was worried about my life and where it was going. Now I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just do it one day at a time. Who cares?
Yeah, man. Did you have a big amount of fear that you had to try and balance throughout that process? And did you get used to it, or was it just something that stayed really powerful until you felt like you were more in the clear health-wise when it comes to the anxious feeling? Did you deal with that?
I guess I was pretty sure I wasn't going to die.
Yeah.
But I felt that sick. I just had to get through the day. Just to pass by a couple of hours.
Yeah.
When you're in chemo, people take it differently. I started off really, really good. Really, really easy, crushing it. And then I went downhill very fast.
Okay.
So you're too tired to do anything. You're too tired to watch TV. But
True.
also you can't sleep. And you feel a bit sick. So you're just trying to get through the day.
Yeah.
Just trying to find anything that will, some people lose a lot of weight. However, I lost weight in the worst way, that I wasn't exercising.
Yeah.
And then also you find solace in flavor.
Okay.
Like, so you just eat like a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken, then might not eat anything for the rest of the day. So I ended up with this weird ET body. Like I had a fat gut and just like, skinny. And I'd never been moody in my whole life, but I was moody. I was very short with my partner. We'd gone through a lot of hard times before that.
Yeah.
COVID, lockdown. Just got out of lockdown, got in our own place. I get cancer again.
Yeah, bro.
So, we both didn't take it very well.
Yeah.
And I wasn't that appreciative of her at the time. So it was very, very difficult for us. We just wanted to get through the day, get through it, get out of it, so man.
And how did you get from that mindset, which sounds like the toughest ever, where you're like, what is there to be that stoked about right now?
Yeah.
How did you get out of that mindset into because it sounds like right now you're kind of complete other end. You're having these moments of like, I'm loving this, I'm biking down the river.
Yeah.
What's has it been a conscious thing, or it's just kind of happened over time?
Yeah, it was half conscious, half happened over time. We had to work really hard at it. I had to work very hard at being a better person.
Yep.
Really, really had to work hard at just all the things that I'd taken for granted.
Yeah, man.
Someone was cooking for me all the time. Someone was, and I was, sometimes you get angry at sometimes I got angry at her for taking the easy way out, and angry at myself. Like sometimes we got takeout, you know, we were both just watching TV all the time. But now I look back on that and I'm like, wow, we got through it.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
like we just did anything to get through it. Anything. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Like you could have a Coke habit or, you know, if we could afford it or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Who cares? You got through it.
Yeah.
You know,
Whatever
so-
you did, whatever the method was, doesn't matter.
But there had to be a time where I had to be strict on myself, but I also had to be strict on her to
Okay.
go, hey, we've got through this now.
Yeah.
Let's get our act together.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
start eating healthy.
Yeah.
Let's start not taking the easy way out. Oh, okay, we're going to both look at our phones. Nah, get the hell off your phone. I've got to get off my phone.
Yeah.
Let's make a conscious effort. Let's do activities together. And you've just got to take the initiative. To
Yeah.
be a real prick, you got to be like, hey, I booked this bushwalk. She's like, I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, I booked it.
Yeah.
We're going to lose money if we can't do it. And then you go and do it. And you
Yeah,
both
man.
love it. But to get over that mindset, and I still do it. We still do it.
Yeah.
We woke up this morning. We didn't even kiss each other good morning. We just went on our phones. So you don't really
Still gotta catch
but
yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you still got to catch yourself. But yeah, that was the conscious effort. The
Yeah.
conscious effort was to just go, all right, let's snap out of this.
Yeah.
You know, I was very lucky to have my partner because we were talking about this the other day. We were we weren't lucky to go through COVID, but we were in lockdown. So we'd been through all this terrible stuff together. Like really, really, lockdown was especially terrible on her. We went through all this stuff. So when I finished chemo, when they were like, you don't have to do chemo anymore, I think a lot of people would have been like, okay, Nick, have a bit of a holiday, chill out, take your time.
Yeah.
But she was like, no, you gotta get up now, and you gotta start making money.
Yeah.
And you gotta, you know, and that she would have been probably a whole lot more lenient on me if we hadn't have gone through COVID and all that kind of stuff. But because we've been through that, she's like, all right, let's
Yeah, bro.
do this. I'm not gonna feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
And that was great. You know, that was really good. you
Sounds
know?
exactly like the force that you needed in that moment. It sounds like you guys have really consciously tag teamed on how we can motivate one another. Like it
Yeah.
sounds like it's kind of a balanced thing between you and her to make sure that you don't just do the easy thing. So it's like a
Yeah.
perfect thing that you can get in a relationship. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, yeah. And it's easier said than done. You know, like it's easier said than done. It took a lot of us chipping away at each other. Like, maybe different tactics to get each other to do things.
Yeah.
And as I said before, we're not even out of the
Yeah.
clear now. But it's like now I'm like, there was times where I'm like, fuck, what am I doing? This is so hard. Like maybe I'm just a bad luck omen for it. Maybe I
Oh,
should just
bro.
leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But once now we're in a good time. We're like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
this is so good.
Do you feel proud? Because everything you've explained just then, that sounds like, I don't know if many people would go through such a hurdle when it comes to life. Do you reflect on it and be like, man, I've done pretty good, like with the help of your partner and I'm sure your friends as well. Do you have that sense of pride about it?
Yeah, yes and no. I think I'm always a guy that's like, well, people had it a whole lot worse than me.
Okay.
People have cancer. People have, fuck, I'm in a first world country. I didn't pay 1 cent
Yeah.
for people to cure my cancer.
True.
I paid a little bit for my medication,
Yeah.
but I got the same cover as someone in private health because
Yeah.
my cancer was that bad.
Well,
I can't complain. You know, and I got out of it. There were people there that had been doing chemo for a year, or a year and a half, or 2 years. I did it for 4 months,
yeah, man.
like 4 or 5 months, and I was like, yeah. So
Yeah.
I can't complain. So, however, I was proud that because it does. There was times where we're like, fuck, maybe we should just end this. You know, maybe we should and you do. Yeah, and I'm proud that we got through it.
Yeah.
But also people that did break up during COVID or people that did break up during cancer or after that, you don't blame them.
Yeah.
You're like, man, nah,
You understand.
you're not weak in any way.
Yes.
we were just maybe extra strong. I don't know.
Yeah, man. I feel like you've probably become inadvertently somebody that people who know your comedy and see all of your work on the internet, they'll go, if they're facing something similar, they're probably sending you DMs and being like, hey, what should I do in this situation? Have you become that guy? Like now that if dudes are like, oh, maybe I should get this checked out, do they comment to you or message you at all because you've been open about the topic?
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's like, it's mind blowing. Like at first, because I say to people, I'm like, DM me, ask me any questions, whatever you got. Like, I'm not a doctor, but I can just comfort you or whatever.
Yeah.
And like 4 people have. One was my mate, and he's like, "Man, I got something wrong with my ball. I was like, "Yeah, why are you asking me? Like, just go and get it seen now. Like, haven't you been seeing my past 50 Instagram posts to get checked about the slightest thing?"
Yeah.
Anyway, he didn't have testicular cancer.
Okay.
But he had some other thing that was like nearly life-threatening.
Whoa.
That he had some lump or something. He had to get it drained or so. I don't know what it was, but it was very funny. He sent me a photo of him in a hospital room, and I'm like, yeah, get your shit checked. And then one of the most greatest experiences ever. Well, it wasn't a good experience for him, but a guy wrote to me and said, he said, man, I got checked because of your show. I've got testicular cancer. He got his testicle removed and he's fine now.
Yep.
And 4 weeks after he got it removed, him and his brother came and saw my show, and it was the coolest thing ever. Amazing. I got him up on stage. Well, not really. I just pointed him out in the crowd, and then another guy in the UK had issues, and his was life threatening. And he said, "Man, it's so weird that some comedian in Australia, through listening to his podcast that I listened to, helped me. Help me get through this."
That's so good, man.
Yeah.
I'm stoked for you, and appreciate you being open with it about it, because I think it's something that, as you would know better than anyone, it's probably something people don't feel comfortable being open about or asking questions about. Like dudes especially, we prefer to just ignore any health issue, whether it's mental health or physical health. So it's so good that your show and your openness about it has prompted a few people to be like, maybe I should I'll start by asking Nick, and then if he directs me to a specialist, then maybe I'll speak to a specialist. You're kind of like that middle step between them and a doctor.
Well, it's just like Michael Schaefer, we're 2 different people, so different. He does a different type of comedy. He's so much more organized. He's more intelligent. He does like straight stand-up. I do crazy, wacky shit. You couldn't get 2 more different guys ever. But my partner persuaded me to ring him. She's like, come on, talk to someone else about testicular cancer. You've got to, because I didn't tell anybody, only her and a couple of close friends.
Right.
And having that coach to coach you through the whole thing, to go, hey, mate, this is what you're going to expect. This is what's going to happen. Do this. To do that was like, oh, it helped me so much.
Yeah.
Like, it helped me so much. Like, I can't tell you the how much that I knew what was going to be ahead. And to do that for other people, I've done it for 2 guys now. Like they're like, oh man, this helped me so much. Like just to able to send me an Instagram voice message, like, this is what I'm going through right now. Watch it. Yeah, you do this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it's never advice. It's just like, this is what maybe you'll expect.
Yeah.
This is what helped me.
And just knowing them, probably knowing that there's one person that understands those emotions or those feelings that they might have, that's probably comfort in itself. Like whatever steps they take after sending you a voice note or a message, it's probably just the fact that they've had the chance to know they've been heard by somebody who knows the feeling or knows the stress of it.
And cancer is so weird because it's so when the first time I got diagnosed, I didn't want to tell anybody, or I didn't want to do any stand-up about it, because I got the testicle removed out of the woods.
Yeah.
Didn't even feel like I had cancer.
Yeah.
Really, in my honest opinion, I didn't feel like I wasn't a survivor or anything. I just got, it's like what a sandwich, it was like getting a tooth removed, like a big tooth full of semen.
The best kind.
Yeah. So I felt like an imposter.
Yeah.
and then the second time when I got it, my hair hadn't fallen out. I still felt really good during the chemo.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't feel like an imposter. But when all my hair fell out and I fucking felt so sick and I was going to the ward, I did not feel like an imposter. Like, no matter how bad other people had it, I felt like, oh my God, I've got this real bad. Like,
Yeah.
So, you know, you can have the smallest amount of cancer or the biggest amount of cancer. If you're together getting through it,
Yeah.
you know, you just know
Yeah, man.
what the other person's going through, you know?
Has talking about it in your special been cathartic, or do you feel like you had processed everything, you poured it into the jokes, and that has all happened in the past, and now you're just telling those jokes of this thing you've moved through already, or does it still feel good to get those jokes out on stage about the topic?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It feels good. Yeah,
Nice.
it does feel good.
Yep.
Recording it will be a relief because I am tired of talking about my testicles and
Sorry to keep
losing
bringing it up.
No. I am like just on stage, you know,
Yeah.
because there's like a bit of gold in there that I can do in any kind of situation. So I'll just being lazy. If I'm doing a paid gig, I'll like, all right, I might as well just wheel out the cancer gear now. And because I'm 40, a lot of comedians of my ilk, I guess, are all getting to 40 or over, and all they talk about is their fucking testicles.
I
Like,
see.
I have a vasectomy, or they have to get, you know, or they're in a hospital for some reason due to a blood clot, or
Yeah.
they've got to jizz into a cup so they can be a
yeah.
dad, you know? So it's all... You know, I find myself in a lineup going, oh my God, I can't talk about this.
Yeah.
Like, I already talked about that. Or, you know, it's just all old white guys talking about how fucked their life is.
Yeah.
Their junk is. Yeah. It's terrible. So I'm keen to move on to other things. But yeah, man, but in a way, it was sometimes very triggering. Because I was finding it very hard to write about the chemotherapy. So, sorry to keep comparing it to lockdown or COVID,
It's all
but
good.
times of your life when they're that bad, you lock it. Well, I do. I lock those memories away, and I forget about them. Like, I'm a real positive person, so I guess like sometimes I'll see a show and I'm like, did I watch that? Oh yeah, I watched that in COVID. Oh yeah, I just locked that away. You know, I didn't even remember that time.
True.
So sometimes it'd be like, okay, what's some funny stuff about chemo? What shows did you watch? And one time I put on Severance, which is
Yep.
fantastic
Great show.
and just hearing the music just brought back all that terrible sickness and what I was going through, and I was like, oh fuck, yeah, I don't want to.
The show's ruined.
I don't want to turn this on. It's
Yeah.
or sometimes I'll have food from that era or something, and I'll be like, I can't.
Yeah.
People told me, one guy said, don't eat your favorite foods during chemo
Right.
because you won't have them again.
I see.
He said, I haven't eaten an avocado in 10 years. So I was weary of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it hasn't really happened because I'm a pretty good eater. But yeah, sometimes I will have something like, Huckster burger.
Yeah.
A couple of times I've got a hankering for that, like the smoothie and the shake. And then, now I can't even.
Damn it.
Yeah. It's so weird. Yeah.
What a mission.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for coming around and having a chat. Aside from the projects that we talked about, what else is coming up for you in the next little while?
Not too much, mate. No, I'm winding things back. I'm getting married, so.
Oh, congratulations. This year?
Yeah, this year. Yep. So I'm just gonna do that.
Yeah. Focus on that.
It's taking up all my time.
Yeah.
Probably won't be my first one if she keeps driving me crazy. No, it's fine. It's great. So yeah, I'm just gonna focus on that, and I'm in a real cool place right now. I've got a part-time job, and I'm just doing stand-up for the fun of it, and I'm putting out videos. And
Yep. Loving the video content as well, by the way.
Oh, great, man. Thank you.
Yeah, make sure you're following Nick on Instagram and check out his shows. I'm planning to come watch the recording of Hold Me Closer, Tiny Cancer, so that'll be awesome. What was the date again of that?
29th of July.
Yep.
Yeah. And
29th
if
July.
you're in Bendigo, we're doing it on the 28th.
Okay, cool.
As well. So,
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, definitely. Come along.
No worries. Thanks for coming around. So good to hang out. Take care.
No worries, mate. Thank you.